welcome back. Today I am doing one of those like get ready with me, first impressions, trying new makeup style videos. Someone seriously needs to come up with like a good name for these types of videos because it's just confusing. But today I am especially excited because I'm going to be testing out products from the brand Makeup Revolution. I feel like over the past few months I've heard so many people rave about Makeup Revolution products. They're available at Ulta if you live in the States. So naturally when I heard that London Drugs here in Canada was going to start carrying the line, I was really excited. I was like, I need to do a video reviewing and trying some of their products for sure. I asked London Drugs on Twitter and they said that the brand is going to be rolling out through the stores between August and October. Both of the London Drugs near me are already carrying the line, but not all of the locations will be carrying it yet, so definitely call ahead and see if they have it in stock at your local London Drugs. They didn't have like a huge selection either. I'm hoping that if the brand becomes more popular, they're going to start getting more stock in. So I will start off by showing you guys what I chose. This is also kind of like a haul. It's like 4 videos in one. So the first thing I chose was a blush palette. They're like these beautiful marbleized blushes. I cannot wait to try those. I also chose a powder contour kit, an eyeshadow palette, as well as just one of their powder highlights. That's kind of the extent of what they had. They didn't have any like base products or lip products, just like a handful of different palettes and then some of these highlights and a bronzer as well, I think was everything. As you can see, I already have my foundation and my brows on because I wanted the main focus of this video to be the Makeup Revolution products. I'm going to zoom you guys in a little bit though because I'm going to start with eyes and we're just going to get started. Alright, so the palette I chose is this new Unicorns Unite palette. If you follow me on Twitter and Snapchat, you saw my ordeal with the first palette I chose. I'll insert a picture here, but basically the first one I chose didn't look anything like the packaging, and the first store I went to didn't have testers out, so I ended up exchanging it for this one. I thought this was fun. It has some different colors than I usually use, so I thought I could do kind of a different, more fun, colorful look than I usually would. This palette was $15.99, and one thing I really liked is you have this whole row of round shadows here. These are all matte, and you get a really nice kind of gradation of matte blending shades, and then you get the more kind of like shimmery, satiny shades up here. And that's one thing I noticed about pretty much all of the Makeup Revolution palettes. They all look like a palette that you could create your entire look with, which is always really nice. I'm sorry my lighting keeps changing so much. It's a really cloudy day, but this is going to be true first impressions. Like, I have not even swatched any of these. I did already prime my lids using my Tarte eye primer, and I just dusted a little bit of translucent powder over top of that. So I'm going to start off by just taking a couple of these lighter matte shades and just kind of start blending those into my crease as a transition. I have no idea how like pigmented these shadows are or anything. I want to do something more fun and a little bit more colorful, so I think I'm going to use some of the purple shadows from this palette today. They're definitely quite powdery when I dip my brush into them, but they're blending quite well. Now I'm just going to go in with just this shade on a slightly smaller blending brush and just start building up that crease a little bit more. I did recently just do a video on my top 10 makeup brushes. I'll have that link below in case you missed it. I will be using a lot of those brushes in this get ready with me tutorial, whatever you want to call it. Can you guys see like how much powder is around here? Definitely very powdery, soft eyeshadows. So now I'm going to go in with this more grapey purple kind of shade on an even smaller crease brush. Whenever I'm doing a more colorful look, I always still start off with neutrals in my crease, but then I like to add a matte shadow of like whatever color I'm using as well, just to kind of make everything blend together nicely. So I'm just gonna really lightly start applying that to the outer area of my crease. Because these are so powdery, I'm getting a little bit of fallout in here, so I'll have to sweep that off after. So far these shadows aren't like crazy pigmented or anything. I'm hoping the kind of shimmers will be more pigmented, because with mattes I don't really mind because it's easy to like build them up like this and blend them out. So I'm hoping we do get a little bit better pigmentation from the shades that we're going to use as our lid colors. So I'm just going to quickly go back in with that first blending brush with no additional product and just blend everything together so there's no harsh lines. I'm honestly kind of afraid that I'm just going to get a ton of fallout when I go in on my lid, but I'm going to mix, if I can get this in frame, these kind of two purples here together and pack that onto my lid. Okay, yeah, that like did barely anything. Maybe I should try wetting my brush We're using like Too Faced glitter glue. I'm getting a little bit more color now, but it's really not giving me much pigmentation at all. I'm gonna get like a setting spray and try spritzing a little bit of that on my brush and see if that works better. Okay, so I just grabbed my Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. This was just the first thing I saw, and I'm gonna spritz a little bit of that onto my brush. I'm definitely getting a lot of fallout from these shadows, so hopefully that will help too. They're just like not as bright and vibrant as I was hoping either, so I'm gonna pick up those same two shadows and try this. Okay, so that's helping a little bit, but it's definitely coming across kind of like patchy and inconsistent, and I'm still getting a lot of fallout. Thankfully, I'm going to go in with the contour kit and like set my under eyes a little bit more with those shades, so hopefully that'll help re-brighten that area. It's making my eyes look really green though. Got a little bit more primer water on there, and I'm just gonna see if that helps a little bit. No, it's just kind of making the shadow, it's kind of getting it like all like chunky and patchy. That's not good. That's not what we want. This is kind of a hot mess. I'm gonna go back in with my blending brush and see if I can kind of soften up those edges. Ugh. I've used the Smashbox Primer Water for this before, and it doesn't typically yield these kind of results. I'm gonna go back in with a little bit more of that purple shade and just work on blending this out to the best of my ability. The funny thing is I'm going to do this like more dramatic, colorful makeup look, and then I'm literally going to put on sweatpants and go binge watch Stranger Things at James's house tonight. We like just started, so don't give me any spoilers. We're only like 3 episodes in. By the time you guys are watching this, we'll probably have binge watched considerably more episodes, but still, no spoilers. Okay, so adding more of that grapey purple shade is definitely helping soften up those edges. Still getting a ton of fallout though. I will clean that up after, I promise you guys. I will not leave it like this. Time to do those lid colors on the other eye. It is literally raining fallout. I can like feel it hitting my cheek. Are you guys seeing that? Like, that's intense. Definitely shadows that you would want to use before doing your base. I personally don't like doing that because I find it kind of hard to visualize my like completed look because I do have acne scarring and everything. You know what I mean? Like, it's just hard for me to imagine what it's going to look like when it's all said and done because my skin isn't like perfect and even to start off with. So I'm just gonna do the exact same thing I did to the other eye and blend more of that matte purple into my crease. Not crazy impressed with these shadows, I'm not gonna lie. I think it'll look okay from a distance once I like clean everything up and do my lower lash line, but they're quite patchy and it's definitely not the worst shadows I've ever tried. But I'm going to quickly go ahead and do a little bit of that matte purple on my lower lash line, and then I'm going to kind of clean everything up. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of sweep off the fallout really lightly. I'm not using any pressure, I'm just kind of like flicking it off of my skin. So to clean this situation up a little bit better, I'm going to go in with the matte vanilla shade on another blending brush and just kind of try and blend that in to my brow bone area to soften this up. This is really not turning out the way I imagined, but now I'm just gonna go back in with the original brush and just kind of reblend that out just to get the shape I want. I'm really not loving these shadows. I feel like I've heard really good things about them, but maybe I'm just crazy. But I definitely had higher hopes for them. Like, ooh, see, even from blending, that lid shade is already just kind of like fading off, and it's just looking all around really patchy. I'm gonna stop with the shadows at least for now, and I'm going to go in with their Ultra Contour Palette, and this is what it looks like. I'm hoping this works well because there's not a lot of really great like larger contour kits like this at the drugstore. NYX has one, and it's okay, but it's nothing special, so I'm hoping this is nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my flat angled brush and mix together these two shades here and set my under eye. I'm hoping this has a good amount of pigment to re-brighten that area. Once again, very powdery. Like, do you see the powder that's coming off of there? So these are actually quite pigmented. I'm more impressed with these so far. It's a little bit light. It's pretty light right now, but I think it's going to be okay once I bronze and contour. I'm gonna do the same to the other eye. Definitely looks kind of white and chalky. I'm just going to blend that out. I think these would work a little bit better if I didn't have a tan right now, like just for my regular really fair skin tone. Yeah, these powders, swatching more of them, they definitely feel kind of chalky. I was going to use one of these warmer shades to kind of bronze up, but I'm kind of afraid to do that. I think I'm just gonna go in with like my Marc Jacobs bronzer and do that, and then use this for my actual contouring. I'm just gonna quickly bronze up with my Marc Jacobs bronzer. I'm just gonna speed this part up. So I just lightly bronzed up. Now I'm going to go in and contour. I'm going to use this middle shade here that's a little bit lighter and more cool tone, and I'm going to take my Real Techniques contouring brush and just lightly start applying that. I like the looks of this contour shade, at least in the pan. It looks quite light and it's not too cool toned and like too kind of ashy looking, and it does seem to be going on quite nicely. I'm definitely more impressed with this product. I've kind of been looking for something to replace my Anastasia Fawn powder. I just want to like mix it up because I get bored, you know, and I want to try new things. On camera it always looks like I'm contouring straight down, but hopefully you can see from the side that it's not just like a straight vertical line. Just kind of blend that up to my temples, a little bit on my forehead, a little bit on my nose, under my bottom lip, and on my chin. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and do my other cheekbone. So the contour shade was definitely better, a little bit more on the sheer side, but that's not necessarily a bad thing when it comes to contouring. Now I'm going to go in with blush. This is one of the things I am the most excited about, and a product that I have heard is really great. On the back it says this is the Blush Palette Queen, and like I said, it is just 8 kind of like marbleized mineral looking blushes. I think I'm gonna do something more neutral since my eyes are a little bit intense. Swatch a couple of these. These have okay pigmentation. These shades here you could definitely use as more of like highlights as well. I think I'm gonna go in with this one here, and I'm just going to apply this really, really lightly. This blush is definitely very glowy, like I don't know how well that's going to show, but it has a definite kind of highlighting effect as well. I think the blush looks fine. It's definitely a fairly frosty finish. This shade in particular, I like how subtle it is for this look, but because it is a little bit more frosty, I would probably use it more as like a blush topper when I want an extra glow. It's definitely not the best for texture on your skin, because once again, I'm finding these powders a little bit chalky, so it's not like finely milled enough to not draw attention to that texture. Now I'm going to go in with highlight. This is the Vivid Baked Highlighter. I got the shade Peach Lights. I thought I would try something a little bit more pink than I usually would. It's just kind of like a light pearly shade, but it has like a slight kind of like pink duochrome to it. They had, I think, at least 2 other shades in this highlight, so I'm just gonna take that with my Luxie tapered highlighting brush. I'll have my coupon code for Luxie down below as always. I feel like this really isn't doing anything. Like, are you guys seeing any color? Like, there's already a bit of glow there from the blush. I'm gonna like really get in there and like pick up a bunch of product. Even then, I'm still not really getting that much color from it. What the heck? Okay, I'm gonna go back in with the contour palette, and I'm going to try this kind of like white gold shade here and see if that does a little bit better. So that's definitely giving me better color payoff. It's very like frosty and chunky though. I'm also going to go back in with this little brush and just use this on the inner corner of my eyes and also the tiniest little bit on the arch of my brow. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and apply a coat of mascara and just throw something like neutral on my lips, and I will be back in a second to kind of share my final thoughts. Thankfully, adding mascara always helps a little bit, and if you are curious what I put on my lips, I use the NYX Nude Pink Lip Liner and then Charlotte Tilbury Bitch Perfect. So if you can't already tell, I'm a little bit disappointed in these products. I'm gonna go through the products kind of in the order that I use them. So I think the makeup looks okay, like from a little bit of a distance like this. It's not too bad, but the thing I was definitely most disappointed in was the eyeshadow palette. When you get up close, and probably even from here, you can just see how like patchy and inconsistent it is. It's already like fading off on this eye and everything, and I used a primer. like my favorite eye primer. It works really, really well. The lighter matte shades in here blended really well at first, but it's kind of hard to like mess those shades up. For the rest of them, I just didn't get the best pigmentation or color payoff, and it's all just a little bit patchy. I tried blending and evening out my eyes so much, and they still look like totally different. When you're going for more bright and bold colors like this, you really need the quality to be there, or else it just ends up looking kind of messy. And also, like you guys saw, these were extremely powdery and just produced a ton of fallout. Once again, they're still not the worst shadows I've ever tried, but I'm not digging these. The contour palette was definitely the best item I tried. Once again though, still very powdery and chalky. That's kind of like a theme with all of the products I tried. The contour shade I used in here is probably actually my favorite product out of everything. I think that worked quite well. A little bit more sheer, but nice and buildable and easy to work with. I think the blushes are pretty, but they're definitely frosty. They're not like super smooth and super flattering. If you have a lot of texture on your cheeks, I would not recommend these. Otherwise, I think they're fine if you want like some more variety and a more affordable price point. The highlight was really disappointing. Like, I don't know how it's gonna show up on camera, but I really felt like I wasn't getting any color from this, and like swatching it, yeah, I get some pigment there, but that is not at all how it applied on my face, and it's still a little bit patchy and kind of like frosty looking. Once again, I think the final look is okay from a little bit of a distance, but I don't like how it looks once I get closer up. I think these products would be okay if you're like newer to makeup and want some variety and don't want to spend a ton of money, but they're just definitely not the quality I was expecting and the quality I'm used to, so that's why I'm just a little bit let down. I don't know, maybe I just kind of chose some duds from the brand. Let me know if there's any products from Makeup Revolution that you've tried and really like. Maybe if they get more product in at London Drugs and more variety, I'll try some other stuff. Unless there is something that you guys say is just like amazing and like really wowed you, then I hope you guys enjoyed this video, even though it didn't really necessarily turn out the way I was hoping for. Give it a thumbs up if you did find this helpful, and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. I am at SARI on all three, and hit subscribe down below if you haven't already. That is going to be it for today. I will talk to all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys! This was a tough one to narrow down just because NYX has so many products, and I love that they're affordable, but they still are really great quality. They're always stepping up their game, always